Pretty hard to go past the size of this thing. It's absolutely tiny, and it is crazy what you get for the size. Now, to just give you a little bit of reference, I don't have super large hands, and this easily fits inside of one hand. No questions asked. You get 12 and 48 megapixel stills out of this drone, which is something I'll cover later on. You also get beautiful 4K 24 FPS all the way up to 100 FPS video, which is just gorgeous. You can shoot 4K video in 10-bit in D-Log-M, giving you a whole load of flexibility when it comes to color grading. You also get a 24mm equivalent lens on the front of this guy, and it's set to f1.7 and it's locked. You can't change the aperture on this drone, which is a little bit of a downside, but to be honest, looking at the size of this thing, you can't really blame them. This does mean that you do need to shoot with ND filters, which is no issue. The ND filters that fit this guy are also incredibly small and low-key pretty cute. Flying this thing, it's fast. I can't lie. It's also super small and nimble, which means it can fit in tiny little spaces bigger drones can't. So if you're a little bit more of an advanced flyer, this is a really, really good drone to hit small spaces with. It also has really good remote signal, which is a very nice feature. It's also a brand new remote as well, so you get these little antennas on the top now. The tracking is also great, and it does hold up in, I would say, mild wind conditions. Of course, you've got to remember, this is 249 grams, so if you're putting this up in super windy conditions, you're not going to be getting, well, actually, you might not be getting your drone back, but either way, you do want to kind of, I guess, assess when you do and don't fly this thing. Don't put it out in some huge blizzard condition. This will get blown away, but mild wind conditions, I've found this thing works. It is very nice that DJI did include this, because if you do want to crop or you do just really want a larger resolution photo, you've got the option. Now, of course, you can shoot both 12 and 48 megapixel photos in RAW, which is great when you're editing. I actually don't mind editing the photos from this drone, given the, I guess, tiny little sensor in this camera and the aperture locked to f1.7. The images are quite sharp, they're quite easy to play with, in my opinion. You can push and pull the shadows and highlights fairly well. I'm a huge fan of the images that are coming out of this. All right, so moving on to the video side of things, and this is where my standards are pretty high. One of the things I was most concerned about with this drone was its ability to only be able to shoot in D-Log-M. I do find that both the blues and the greens are way more saturated in D-Log-M than just normal D-Log, so all I have to do is kind of tweak them and bring the blues and greens down a little bit more than usual, and then I'm pretty much at my usual style. So happy days. Aside from that, the 4K just looks great. I'm super happy, and to be honest, I'd expect nothing less from DJI. Once again, they nailed it. Moving on to the vertical shooting aspect of this. I know I touched on it before, but for me, this isn't a huge selling point, but for some, this is going to be the selling point. See, I shoot everything horizontally because I need everything shot horizontally. I don't just want to be shooting for TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts because, well, I make these videos all the time. And